Digital nomads are taking over the world. There are approximately 35 million digital nomads worldwide, and every day more and more countries are starting their own programs to lure them in. It has become so common that there are even digital nomad visas, designed specifically to allow citizens of other countries to come and work remotely. But not every digital nomad visa is equal, and not every country is equal. Just like every digital nomad has their own needs and wants. That's why in this video, I'll be breaking down the 3 best countries for digital nomads in these categories. Because choosing a best country for digital nomads is meaningless if it doesn't fit your specific requirements. I'll also give you some honorable mentions to go with my recommendations. But first, if you're new here, my name is Ryan, and I'm a digital nomad who has lived abroad for 4 years in 3 different countries. And I give practical advice to people living abroad. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a finance, tax, or legal expert. I'm just a guy on the internet, and my opinion should be taken as such. So let's get into it, starting with the easiest country to move to. So I based my ranking for the easiest country to move to on a few different factors, and those are how much the visa application costs, how long the visa takes to process, how long the visa lasts, income requirements, if there are any, language, and location. So taking all these factors into account, the country I found to be the easiest country to move to for digital nomads is St. Lucia. St. Lucia is a 238 square mile island nation in the Caribbean Sea off the coast of Barbados. It's about a 4-hour direct flight from Miami, 5 hours from New York, and 9 hours from London. The official language of St. Lucia is English, spoken by its 180,000 residents, and the capital city is Castries. Now, I've personally never been to St. Lucia. I actually prefer to visit big cities, but it seems like one of those chill island paradises where you can just sit back in a hammock and enjoy the scenery. So if you're looking for a slower pace of life and amazing weather year-round, then St. Lucia is a great option. And they make it so easy to move there. Their digital nomad visa, or as they call it, the Live It program, costs only $75 to apply to, and you'll know if you're accepted within 5 days. The visa lasts for 12 months and allows for multiple entries, so that means you can come and go from the country with only one visa. And finally, and this is huge, there's no minimum income requirements, which makes this visa super accessible. You do have to show proof of income, whether that's working at a company, freelancing, or owning your own business, but it seems like they take it on a case-by-case basis and there's no hard limit, which is really nice if you're just starting out or if you come from a lower income country. And on top of all that, you can bring your family with you. So it's really flexible and they make it as easy as possible for you to join the program. That being said, an honorable mention for the easiest country to move to is Albania. Besides having quite possibly the sickest flag of any country, Albania is super accessible to digital nomads. All it takes to be eating a Balkan breakfast, drinkable yogurt on the Mediterranean coast in Albania is a foreign income of at least 315 euros a month, or just under 10,000 euros a year, which is the equivalent of Albania's minimum wage. You also need a clean criminal record within the last 5 years, so presidents need not apply, or president's sons, and you're gonna have to have international health insurance as well as open an Albanian bank account because you're gonna have to pay taxes in Albania. The digital nomad visa or unique permit takes 15 to 30 days to process and lasts a whole year. But because of the tax requirements, the health insurance requirements, and the language barrier, they speak Albanian in Albania, go figure, St. Lucia is still my top pick for the easiest country to move to for digital nomads. Now on to the next category, which is the best country to start a business. Now, there are a lot of different factors that can make a country the best fit for your business, including where you currently live, where you pay taxes, and where you do business. So there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but I looked at a few different factors to determine the best country to start a business as a digital nomad. The first is a low barrier to entry. The next is economic and political stability, because nobody wants to start a business in a war zone. The next is tax benefits, and the final one was market access. So the country that I found has the best of all these conditions is Singapore. Singapore is an island city-state with a total land area less than that of New York City. It's one of the most densely populated countries in the world, and its 5.9 million residents speak 4 official languages, with the common language being English. Since the 60s, Singapore has grown to become a powerhouse of global finance, boasting one of the highest GDPs per capita of any country, and with that comes some of the best healthcare, the longest life expectancies, lowest infant mortality rates, fastest internet connection speeds, amazing infrastructure, and lowest levels of corruption in the world. These factors alone make the country an attractive option to start your business, but part of what has led to Singapore's growth is its entrepreneur-friendly policies. As far as barrier to entry, most entrepreneurs get the EntrePass, which you can apply for entirely online, so there's less hoops to jump through. And Singapore actually provides a full tax exemption for qualified startups on their first 100,000 Singaporean dollars for their first 3 years. So they definitely provide incentives for you to go and start your company there. Also, Singapore has a 17% flat corporate tax rate, no capital gains tax, and a low personal income tax. As for market access, Singapore has free trade agreements with 27 countries, as well as the largest port in Southeast Asia, giving it unparalleled access to Asian markets. It also has arguably the best airport in the world for international travel.
I mean, just look at this airport. It has a movie theater and a butterfly garden. That sounds majestic.
So all these factors combined make Singapore, in my opinion, the best country for a digital nomad to start their business. Now, a distinction between this ranking and the previous one is that best doesn't always mean easiest. And that's where the sponsor of today's video, Awesome, comes into play. Awesome is a team of accountants that have helped incorporate over 15,000 businesses in tax havens such as the UK, Singapore, and Hong Kong. They can help you set up your company with the right bank account and get you registered for taxes so you can have everything taken care of and legal, and you can just focus on growing your business. Whether you're a digital nomad like me or a location-independent entrepreneur, Awesome makes incorporation in these tax-friendly regions hassle-free and completely paperless, so you can manage everything online from anywhere in the world. Aside from a dedicated accountant, Awesome handles your taxes, bookkeeping, and accounting all on their easy-to-use platform, so you can track your cash flow in real time, stay on top of invoices, and manage all of your business finances in one place. So if you plan on starting a company in the UK, Singapore, or Hong Kong, join 15,000 other small business owners who trust Awesome to help them run their business smoothly. You can get 16% off all of their services using my links below. So before we move on to the best budget country for digital nomads, I want to give an honorable mention for the best country to start your business, and that's the good old US of A. So it probably comes as no surprise that the US is an extremely friendly business environment. It's quick and cheap to set up an LLC, it has every banking and payment option you could ask for, and the US in general has a reputation of having trustworthy businesses. Also, if you set up your company in the US, you could potentially pay no income tax. Now this is for pretty particular cases, but if you're someone who doesn't pay taxes in the US, and you set up your business in a low tax state like Wyoming or Delaware, and you don't do business in the US, let's say you sell digital products online but you don't sell in the US, then your business becomes what's called a pass-through tax entity, and you could essentially pay no taxes. Again, this is not legal or financial advice. Please contact a professional advisor if you plan on doing that. It's just something I was reading up on and I thought I would share. I'm definitely not an expert, but it might be worth considering if you're not an American. Okay, our final category is the best budget country. The factors I looked at to determine this one are pretty straightforward. Cost of living, so rent and utilities, that'll probably be the highest no matter where you go. Food costs, so both dining out and buying groceries, and transportation. So my pick for the best budget country to save money as a digital nomad is Vietnam. If you've been living the digital nomad lifestyle for a while, or even if you're just getting into it, you've probably heard of Vietnam as a place for people living abroad. And that's because it's just so damn cheap. Also, Vietnamese food is fucking awesome. See what I did there?
Vietnam is located in the heart of Southeast Asia, bordered by China to the north, Laos and Cambodia to the west, and the South China Sea to the east. Vietnam is characterized by its diverse geography, rich culture, and amazing cuisine blending Chinese and Thai flavors. The official language of Vietnam is Vietnamese, spoken by its population of nearly 100 million. It's actually one of the most populous countries in the world, with most of its residents living in the countryside. However, cities like its capital Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, and Da Nang are gaining traction as tech startup hubs and affordable options for digital nomads. For example, the median cost of a one-bedroom apartment in Hanoi is just under $700 a month, or $17.8 million. Yes, that's the name of the currency, and yes, if you have the mind of a 12-year-old like me, that's hilarious. Da Nang is even cheaper, with a fully furnished one-bedroom apartment going for under $400 a month, and all utilities, including internet and phone bills, averaging around $65, which is insanely good. As far as food, a loaf of bread goes for about 80 cents in the supermarket, and a bottle of mid-range wine goes for $8. A meal for two in a mid-range restaurant can go for less than $25.
And then transportation. While infrastructure in general seems to be somewhat lacking in the country, most of the major cities do have bus routes and taxis. A monthly bus pass will cost you $4 to $8, and a 1-hour taxi ride in Da Nang will cost you at the most $12. So if you want to save money while living abroad and still get to experience a vibrant culture with great access to all Southeast Asia has to offer, then Vietnam is your best choice. But if Vietnam isn't an option because of time zone issues, then my honorable mention for a budget country is Mexico. If you didn't know, that's where I'm currently living with my wife and 2 doggos, and I love it. Not only is it much more affordable than the US, but the culture and food is amazing, the people are warm and friendly, and there's so much to explore. So if you want to find out more about what it's like to live in Mexico, then check out this video. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you over there.